I live in the part of the building where they used to brew the beer.
She lives in a 125-year-old brewery.
Back when this was a brewery, this was where people would come and hang out after work.
Bottle beer.
With her inspiration and design all around her.
I don't bring anything into my house that I don't cherish.
The designs she has created have spun both a fashion.
This is some of my recent collection. If I could wear my house, like this is what this dress is. It's me wearing my house.
And upholstery business within the walls of her Rainier Beer home.
That is like extra heavy duty. Like you could sew through plywood with that machine.
Being an artist has been in her blood for as long as she can remember.
I feel like I'm still harboring creative energy even when I'm resting, you know, being in here.
What's it like to live in a brewery?
My name is Cherry. I live in an old brewery.
Brewed by Rainier Brewery in Seattle.
They ended up moving manufacturing to Portland, Oregon. Somebody ended up buying it and then they renovated the entire backside and made all new living units. Rainier Beer ended up putting an R back on top of the building as it's such an important piece of the Northwest history. Back when this was a brewery, this was like where people would come and hang out after work. I know a lot of people that used to work at the Rainier Brewery who are like in their 70s now, and they used to talk about this room, and it was a pretty lively place.
Bottle beer.
It was just recently reopened, and now it's the Mountain Room. Rain Beers, the beer mascot.
Oh, a whole herd of Rainier beers.
This is so dangerous. This doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. Hey guys, come check it out and see what it's like to live here. I live in the part of the building where they used to brew the beer, so my floor is on a slant. I have to prop everything up on bricks and I have to level everything with shims. The hallway was the drain for the beer to drain out. And then the unit across the hall slants this way. I wanted to be an interior decorator and my dad told me that I couldn't because I don't have any motif. If motif is something that makes sense of interior decoration, then that's not me. So then I just embraced it. I'm a pretty eclectic person. I have lots of different talents and interests and hobbies and different eras that I'm interested in, different parts of the world. I don't bring anything into my house that I don't cherish. I lived here for 3 or 4 years before I kind of realized that I could create walls using the pipes. I went to the fabric store and just bought like yards and yards and yards and yards of fabric, and then I just sewed them up and made them. It kind of breaks up the whole thing. This is my kitchen. It was all concrete and I just kind of put new tile in. On this shelf right here, like, you know, it's kind of half business, but also I like there's honey and there's candles and there's owl feathers, and there's just a little bit of everything in here, honestly, because I spend so much time in here that I don't want it to just feel like a kitchen. This is where I book every job. This is where I order all of my fabric. This is where I drink coffee and eat. I mean, this is like the heartbeat of my whole operation. My friend Ting, she's this really talented artist from China, and she painted that too. And then that I got at the thrift store and just painted the frame black. I kind of tried to make like an African theme. When I'm in here, there's so many things that trigger happiness.
I might not be the right one.
This, to me, is like Gilligan's Island. You know, I feel like I'm in the 1950s, like Gilligan's Island furniture. Like, I feel like I could be Ginger. These were my Grandma Cherry's plates. So these are really old and they're really special, and I've been eating off those since I was a kid. I sit and have every meal at this table. This is where I do my cookbooks, and this is where my printer is. This is my shelf of miscellaneous that I like to hide behind this painting. This is my tool cart. This is like the most stuff that I use, but I can roll it around as I need to. This is some of my recent collection, but also there's like half-finished quilts. There's jackets I've made, like, there's like this jacket I made out of like old boat vinyl. It's so over the top crazy. If I could wear my house, like this is what this dress is me wearing my house. This is where I pattern things. It's an old bowling alley floor. Like I can use my hot knife on it and it's like the perfect height. And so I actually built everything else around the table to the height of this. My sewing machines, I've had this one for 15 years and then I've had that for like 3 years. Anything really heavy duty I can do with this. That is like extra heavy duty. Like you can sew through plywood with that machine. This is a really good machine. It's made out of metal so it can really handle heavy duty like upholstery stuff. And then I have the same one. This is for like lighter things like sheer material, like if I make a kimono or like a chiffon dress, I use this one. This is kind of like my guest room, sort of. This is a fold-out couch. Ideally, I wouldn't have this couch really, but sometimes when I'm sewing, I'm so tired that like I just like to sit. And I've been working on this quilt for a while now. I'm quilting it all by hand. So sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll work on it and just rest because my other couch is not comfortable at all. When I was a kid, I used to drive past that brick wall, and every time I see it, it just reminds me of like being a kid. There's something about it, like I don't know. It just feels like Seattle. This is where I keep all of my designs and some of my old plastic bags. And if I'm done with a bow or I feel like I'm not gonna reuse a pattern, I'll reuse the plastic. This is just like somewhere I can sit down if I need to, especially because I work on the floor. Sometimes I just need to sit down for a second. And like, I don't get stuck there. Cause it's, or same thing with right here. Like I like to sit there because usually if my guests are over, I have them sit on the couch. So like I'll sit on one of the floor pillows so I can see them. Or, like I'm just a floor pillow person. This is my bedroom that I kind of created like a makeshift bedroom. And my cat's bedroom. They all get their own little flower, which they like. This is just kind of where I regroup and recharge. And like, I love this painting, the imagination celebration. I feel like I'm still harboring creative energy even when I'm resting, being in here. I like to really curate how things make me feel. I could be anywhere in the world at any time. It could be 1920s, 1950s, 1980s, depending on where I'm at in here. Thanks for coming over, and maybe I'll see you again sometime. And this is what it's like to live in an old brewery. Bye.
If you have a story to tell, send us a message. What's It Like TV.